Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hi.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Well, how's it going?
We're missing one.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Jay's not in the building, bro. So I'm guessing he'll be here in a second.
He just sent me an ETA, 11:14.
Ooh.
He is stuck, and he sent me multiple pictures of a crazy accident on 480 West. It looks like an 18-wheeler's flipped on its side.
Oh, boy.
Standstill.
That may be 12:14.
Yeah.
Could be 12:14. That is true. But Jay Crawford will make it in today, we hope.
Hey,
He's
man, well,
supposed to
listen,
be in here today.
this is one of them days, though, where you got a lot to talk about, though. You got a bunch you could talk about. The Super Bowl happened. The Cavs happened.
Yeah.
Like James Harden. We got a lot of stuff. DC coordinators. Kirk Cousins is in the mix. Jason,
Can we do like 2 minutes on Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Or we're doing it at the end, right?
We're doing it at the end, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it was.
How was your guys' Super Bowl parties, though? Is what Jason, because you had your squares. You were trying to raise some money for your son's baseball.
We sold it out. It was a stretch, but we took it right up until a couple hours before. But we did sell out the board, so that was good. I did not win anything, which when you're running a board, the last thing you want to do is win a square.
Yeah. Like,
it's bad. That's bad.
Because they give you that.
Yeah. So I actually,
For real?
I screen recorded the random draw just in case, because I'm like, yo, I had nothing to, like, I hit the button, there you go. Like, it's
There it
all,
is.
it is what it is. But we had, my daughter turned 14 last week, so we had the family party last night.
Oh.
So we really didn't have a Super Bowl party. We just had, like, my in-laws were over, my mom was over.
That's a good mix, though. Like, because it lightens the energy up.
Yeah.
Because they're not really watching. They just having fun.
Yeah, and my oldest came over and we met his girlfriend for the first time.
So hold on. So was this your? So I met your. I think I met your oldest at Jay's house, right?
Yes.
So he was in
Alex.
college at the time.
Alex,
Right? He was
yeah.
like his last year or something. So at the time, Did he have a girlfriend then?
I don't. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, you listen. I'm not invested unless you come here and say, "Hey, Dad, I got to talk to you real quick," and you pull him to the side and you be like, "Hey, man, this is, like I really got feelings for her." You be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay."
This is new. They just. Well, what's funny was I had another death in the family a couple weeks ago.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
I had a funeral,
Man.
and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring her to the funeral." I'm like, "Bro, dude, son, you cannot bring a girl that we haven't met to the funeral." He's like, "Well, we'll just get it out of the way, and she can meet everyone." I'm like, "Not at a funeral."
That's like listen.
Hey, if she can survive the funeral, you keep her, right?
Hey, listen, shout out to her, because if she really wanted to, like, that's wild work, because it's a situation where it's kind of like, you know what? She's a down chick. She came at your lowest point. She wanted to pull up at the funeral.
I said, no, we're not doing this at a funeral. So he called me and said, can I bring her? I'm going to bring her to Ava's party. I'm like, that's much better.
Okay.
Bring her to Ava's party, to the family dinner birthday party. Love to meet her, sit down, have a conversation with her. Not at a funeral.
Man, so crazy with black folks is we don't even get a chance. They just be bringing them. You be like, that's so-and-so's, this is his new friend. And they don't even say girlfriend, this is so-and-so's friend. Yeah. And you be like, bro, okay, what's up? How you doing, bro? They come in and sit, say nobody don't talk to them. But yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Now, we can't even talk about, now, is anybody losing their mind? The halftime show is the biggest part. Was anybody losing their mind? The internet went crazy. I was still laying down.
I don't understand. Like, I truly don't understand all of the outrage, because, like, I'm not a bad. I don't know who he is.
I was like.
But it was sort of like last year's, where I'm like, I'm an old dude. It's not my demographic. But so what?
It's like nobody. So if you're a person in America, lots of people didn't know what Kendrick Lamar was talking about either, right? Bad Bunny comes up there. I'm like, listen, I just wanted to see. Now, I happen to know a little bit about him because my ex-wife is Puerto Rican, right? So, now listen, don't look at me like that, bro. Like I was setting something up. I didn't look at none of that. Now, look, so I kind of knew what it was, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to understand none of these words up here. So what we going to do? So we're going to I'm going to watch the spectacle.
I mean, Ricky Martin lived Leader de Loca,
Yeah.
and everybody loved it.
Macarena, everybody loved that.
Everybody loved it.
So I was like,
I mean, honestly, I did the dishes during halftime because we had a huge party, right? Like
Right.
we had a ton of dishes. I still do them at halftime, and we had it on in the background, and I knew like one song. I think I was like, all right, I know that. I've heard that. It wasn't my thing, but like, so what?
It wasn't my thing either, but like it was a vibe. It was something you could bounce to. You ain't know the words. You just kind of got with it. Like even if it's not, something I'm culturally grounded in, I ain't gonna poo-poo it because other cultures who enjoy that type of music, they enjoyed it. I mean, just last year we was talking about all we wanted was a Black Grand National.
Yeah.
Irrational. Here we go. So. But overall, I thought the commercials was boring. I thought the game was wild.
It was boring.
It really wasn't all that. Coco killed it. Coco Jones killed it. She came like with a, reinvention of the Whitney Houston outfit from 1991.
That was crazy.
It was dope.
You know who I enjoyed the most? And maybe this is just my OU and me, but I really enjoyed Green Day. Like I
didn't even see them.
Oh, you didn't see Green Day in the beginning?
I didn't see them.
So I like what they did. So they did Green Day. They brought out I don't know why they brought these guys. I brought out Joe Montana and Steve Young and Jerry.
Oh,
Rice.
I saw them. Because we had the volume down.
Yeah.
I saw them walking out. Was Green Day playing while they were coming out?
Yeah, Green Day was playing. So Green
Day
Day played 4 joints and they put me in a time machine. I said, bro, I remember this music used to play on the radio. That I was like, man, like I don't know if you would call them a punk band, but yeah, like they was playing. I really enjoyed that. It was really nostalgic. But other than that, bro, the whole thing was nasty work.
I wonder what the lineup is like once the Super Bowl comes to the new Brown Stadium in Brook Park. Like it's Bone Thugs and Harmony are part of the halftime show.
Oh, well, they do.
Is Avant singing, the national anthem.
Right. Like that's
like how we doing this. Once it finally comes on our turf, that'd be interesting.
I guarantee Machine Gun Kelly show up somewhere.
Yeah.
He got to.
Yeah.
He got to.
Well, like that's the crazy thing because I'm thinking about it because the Browns, Jimmy is probably already getting his money ready. To get this.
He trying to get that 20, 30, 20.
Well, how far out are they? Like the Olympics are like 16 years out. Like how far out are
They haven't announced 30 yet. I believe like 2030
would be the first available.
Not announced yet. I believe. Let me double check.
They won't award it that fast in case there's or in case the stadium's not ready.
Right.
So it's probably later than that.
So he up against it. I'm not saying that Jimmy.
Yeah, it's up to 29. So Levi's had it this year. SoFi has it next year. Georgia has it in 28, and then Vegas has it in 29.
It feels like it's just a rotation of those 4 at this point.
And you see all the new stadiums coming. The Commanders' new stadium, Browns' new stadium, amongst others. So we're going to be in that 5-year range between 2030 and 2035. I hope.
Now, hey, Man City, get your infrastructure ready, bro. Be taking y'all long to do anything. Y'all ain't, what I'm saying? Hotel rooms, all kind of good stuff, bro. We're going to see, man.
Atlanta, Vegas. I mean, New Orleans is in the rotation usually. That thing's a dump.
Yeah, they stay in there.
It's such a dump. But New Orleans is a great town. But the stadium's horrendous.
So, listen, shout out to them, man. We're going to have a good one.
No, nothing.
Oh.
Nothing. Now, I'm trying to – I have no IFB. I got called from the bullpen.
Yeah.
And the craziest turn of events earlier. So, like, it's Black History Month. I'm hosting the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Like, what it do?
With no first-string reps, here you are.
No first-string reps. Here I am. You know what I mean? No first-string reps at all. Hey, real quick before we get into, like, real topics, I seen something that was hilarious. So, of course, James Harden paid for number 1. Yeah. And Max Strus moved to number 2, and it's like Kyrie jersey number is just getting passed around like a blunt. Well, everybody get a shot at number 2.
I have no issue with that because that man won't even come back. So why should they keep something sacred that he can't even bother to come back to the city?
Listen,
how many times has he missed games in Cleveland?
I hear that.
Is kind of.
But he hit the biggest shot ever.
Yeah,
like
you're
that.
right.
Nobody should be walking around wearing number 2. Don't nobody walk around wearing 0.
He is the most. So funny.
It's a weird number. Nobody wants it.
Nobody really was like. I guess people was mad at Kyrie at the time, but what's so wild? You are correct. Like I don't remember him playing here.
I mean,
In
the Boston game, when Hayward got hurt. Yep. And I think he's been back since, but I lost count for a long time.
It's been a few times.
He's never came back.
Sometimes it's
And now
been
he's been
willingly.
hurt.
I didn't want to play. Other times it was like he was hurt.
I mean, I would be all for them retiring his jersey if he would actually show up for the ceremony. Because if he, you got to make sure that he's there.
Chances that Kyrie Irving ever plays for the Cavs.
Oh, 0. I shouldn't say 0. I shouldn't say 0.
It's like
1, 2, 3%.
They gotta put that deuce in the Raptors though.
Hey, they got to retire that.
I mean, you never know. When guys get to the end of their career and they get sent, this is the best years of his career. We're here. He can.
Right.
I don't know what he's so upset about.
I don't either.
I don't know.
I just don't know if I could sit down and talk to him and be like, yo, that's one of the fascinating interviews. Like, hey, bro, what really happened?
He's a different dude.
Yeah,
he's just. I mean, we would talk to him, and I'd walk away and go, I don't understand anything. I don't know what the hell he just said.
Yeah, I remember one of the articles back in the day. You was just like, you was trying to explain. You're like, this dude is getting the most shots. He's averaging the most points he's ever done in his life, and he's obviously the man. They chose Deion Waiters over him. They said this, but this dude was literally during the finals run miserable. Was just by himself.
Yeah.
I don't talk to many people.
Oh, he would show up and not talk to anyone at at shoot around in the morning, and he wouldn't say a word to anybody. And everyone was like, all right, well, that's just Kyrie being Kyrie. And they'd just leave him alone, and eventually he'd snap out of it or he wouldn't or whatever. I remember his second year here, so when they were bad,
mm-hmm.
I was talking to somebody who was in his inner circle who said I remember exactly, I was in my office in my house, and he said, if they don't take winning seriously, we have to look to get them out of there. And I was like,
oh, you dang, but this is already?
The city is still burning from LeBron.
Yeah, already?
They love this kid, and this is already started. Because if you remember, early on in his career, I wrote a couple things about it, and Brian wrote a couple things about, the possibility of Kyrie leaving and everything else, and people lost their minds. But it was wild.
There was little kids at I did a clip way back then, and it was at the time I think Anthony Davis was trying to leave, Kawhi Leonard was rolling out San Antonio, and then Kyrie, they had clips of him saying, little kids, are you gonna leave us like LeBron left us?
Yeah.
And then he was like, no, I'm not gonna leave you and then they was just I'm like, bro, that was very awkward, my G. That was wild.
Yeah, that was wild work.
Yeah. But shout out to Kyrie Irving.
Those were the good old days, man. Those 4 years before when LeBron was gone, those were some bad basketball teams.
But it was fun to watch.
Samardo Samuels.
Oh my.
Christian Iyenga.
Oh my gosh. There was Alonzo G.
There was Christian could jump out of the gym. Christian was unbelievably athletic, but he couldn't play basketball. And I remember there was a game where Byron Scott was the coach. I loved Byron. Byron was the only coach I've ever been around who was better on the record than he was off the record. On the record, he'd tell you anything. Off the record, wouldn't tell you anything. It was crazy. It was this ain't how this works.
You got to figure this
it was
out,
backwards.
Brian.
But the one game, Christian is just out on the court like this, and Byron's yelling at him, Christian, where is your man?
But
Chris was like, huh?
Right over there. So he was kind of like DeAndre Hunter. Now, see, you can't do that, G. Bush. You cannot do that. You can't. And I like DeAndre Hunter, bro. By the way, I was in my deep dive. I was laid up sick. I was watching somebody do their best Mikey McNuggets impersonation. He went over the worst contracts. The contracts that looked good but turned out to be super garbage.
Yeah. And
so he had DeAndre Hunter on that list. Ja Morant's contract was on that list.
Oh, that belongs.
Jonathan Isaacs from Orlando on the list.
Yeah.
Bam Adebayo was on the list. And I was like, but they gave us, I would have loved it. He was like, well, listen, Bam is, he's a 6'8", undersized dude, and he can't finish over length. And I was like, okay, well, I mean,
Bam can play. I mean, I put Trae Young's contract on that list.
Oh
before.
no, his contract was definitely on the list. And he was like, at the time we recorded this, Trae Young's contract has been moved for Minimowski.
Yeah,
literally nothing. And he was like, it's funny how. And then I heard Richard Jefferson say something which was crazy, because he was saying at the trade deadline, the way the NBA is looking is the top superstars the names don't even really have the level of a value that you think is attached to you. You said the secondary guys like this, what they got for Zubac.
Yeah.
They said Zubac ain't a crazy piece, but what they got for Zubac turns out to be way more than what people think because those contracts are more easily used.
As soon as you sign that top dollar deal, you suddenly are no longer valuable on the trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just
as soon as they sign those deals, it's like a year or two later. Now they're trying to move off of them. They're trying to get off of them.
And it's like, there is somebody said there's no such thing as a franchise guy. You're just a really overpaid guy now.
Well, the next Donovan contract, the starting point is $66 million per year.
It's a lot of money. And we got Jay has made it in. What's up, Jay?
No one's worth that much money.
$66 million
What's up, Jay?
per year is what his next deal will start at. Everything's a projection because you don't know what the cap's going to be. But right now, the projection, and that's gone up slightly. It's gone up a tick the last couple of years.
And it's all the max. It's not just Donovan. It's all the max contracts. But we waited till Jay to get here to dive in. So let's do a read and let's dive into our topics. So we just wasted 15 minutes off the top. Having some fun, but we haven't dove into any of our topics.
I thought that was good stuff.
I thought that was cooked.
High quality filibuster. high quality filibuster. Guys,
Christian
the Cleveland
Iyengar?
Charge tomorrow, Tuesday night, if you're looking for something to do, the Cleveland Charge are at home against the Toronto Raptor 905 G League team. It's a matchup of the number 1 team in Toronto versus the number 3 team in Cleveland. They have a Tuesday and Thursday home doubleheader at Public Hall. Get your tickets at clevelandcharge.com. I'll be there tomorrow night. Hope to see you guys there as well. Guys, James Harden made his debut for the Cleveland Cavaliers over the weekend. 23 points and 8 assists in a come-from-behind win over the Sacramento Kings. Jason, we'll start with you on this one, but what was your biggest takeaway from James Harden's debut as a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers?
He can play basketball. He's pretty good. And,
Still?
Yeah. And we talked about it last week. It may look a little clunky at times as him and Donovan sort of figure it out, and I think we saw that a little bit. But I said last week, both of these guys are motivated to figure it out, and that's 3/4 of the battle. Is when they want to make this work, they will make it work. I think James very much will find his way early on here to just sort of fit in where he can. Made a couple big threes late. I don't think he's trying to dominate anything. At this point, I think he's just trying to figure out how these guys play and see what he can do. So, listen, to struggle against a bad team like that, you could say, oh, wait a minute. No, they'll be fine. This team's going to be fine. They'll figure it out. Denver tonight, right, and then home again on Wednesday, coming off this road trip. There you go. They got one game at home before the All-Star break. I thought James looked fine. I think this whole thing will be fine, and we talked about it last week, Mike, what he's going to do for Jarrett Allen, and I think you saw that right away. Jarrett had a couple good games here recently prior to James' arrival, but I just think I've been hard on Jarrett at times, but I think James Harden will be the best thing that's happened to Jarrett's career in quite a long time.
Jarrett Allen, my man, you listen, that trade deadline might have been scary for you, my bro. That trade deadline might have been a little spooky for you, but let me tell you something, though. What I loved about watching James Harden play is James Harden is one of those dudes who, when you playing against him, I can't stand this game. Like, I just don't like how he gets to the rim. I just don't like how it looked like he's nonchalant and gets to his spots, and he'd be stepping back on people, and he had the nerve to be hitting those. But when he's playing for you, it's a whole new situation. It might be a whole new world, like we're talking about Aladdin. You know what's crazy is James Harden, the way he's able to pass the ball, like his pocket pass game is ridiculous because it doesn't look like these are crazy over-the-top high degree of passes. But he gets the ball to bigs where you don't got to do much at all. All you got to do is get the ball and finish. And I think what you're seeing right now is the fact that the way Jarrett Allen is playing, this is the energy Jarrett Allen is playing with because he knows that all I got to do is roll. Like, all I got to do is roll and I'm going to eat. And James Harden knows, like that pass he just threw right there, that pass was a little off key. But Jarrett Allen showed good hands in being able to get that basketball and able to finish. So that shows him trust level. Like, I could pass it to this guy in a bunch. So the fact that I love the trade, I love the fact that they got bigger. Now, James Harden is about 6'5", I think Brad talked about the level of size that he has. It's nobody's going to say he's some kind of crazy defender, but they got Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder, and those guys seem to have kicked up the defensive intensity. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I just see more on the ball pressure. I see more guys doing certain things, and I like that energy. But for me, where he stood out the most was at the end of the game. There was times where the Cavs were down, and listen, you say what you want. I mean, he's an elite scorer. He's 9th all-time scorer. He's hit the 2nd most threes of all time. I mean, he gets to the free throw line and shoot 90%. But the great thing about it was, at that point in time, they was down, I think, 6 or 7, and they erased they went on an 8-row run in the fourth quarter like this. He hit 2 threes. He was 5 of 8 from 3. And you start to see the level of, oh, we got another ball player. Oh, we got somebody else that can roll with Donovan Mitchell. And it's a work in progress, but I like that energy. I like the fact that now you can't just be running around and double and triple teaming Donovan Mitchell. And I think Donovan Mitchell embraces that because he sees that, the moment ain't too big for James Harden. I like the fit.
I think that we got another dog, a closer in the clutch.
Whoa.
No? I'll tell you why. First of all, when you look at fourth quarter scoring, I think, does Donovan still lead the NBA in fourth quarter scoring?
I can tell you in 1
I
second.
know he's like leading in second half scoring, right?
I think he leads in fourth quarter scoring.
He gets it done.
And the reason is because they didn't have that guy. They didn't
Right.
have that other guy. And I know it was the Kings, and I know it was a team they should have just run right off the court in the first half. They didn't do that. But in the second half, when the game was in the balance, he took 2 big threes, nailed them both.
Yeah.
And that's why I know his reputation precedes himself. And he's been known as a guy who, if you put a bunch of adjectives in to describe him, quit is going to be one of them. He's got some quit. We've seen it.
Yeah.
But he's also a guy who I think realizes his sand in the top of the hourglass is running out. And this might be a legacy play for James Harden. This might be the opportunity that he has to tell all of the people that gave up on him, that call him a quitter, that talk about his chase for a ring, and him always leading to the devolution of that. This might be his last opportunity to prove those folks wrong. And we're really going to find out what's inside of James Harden the rest of this season going forward, because he's under that spotlight. And I like the fact that they got bigger. We've always said this backcourt, you can't win with this backcourt. It's too small. I don't feel the backcourt's too small anymore.
Oh, no.
I don't. And Harden, I think he plays bigger than he is, too. There were some moments during the game where it was kind of out of body for me, because I'm like, wow, those are the iconic James Harden moves, like the dribble, step back hit.
The one that we always getting hit with.
The ones that we've been screaming about. Dang. And the ones that make you say, oh, that's the special
That's
part
the
of him.
MVP. That's
That's the
all-time
MVP.
top 75 player in the history of this league.
And I think, Mike, he still has it. He
having a great
penetrates
season.
and dishes. He's had it. Where is the productivity gone? I mean, it hasn't dipped. And that's amazing, because at 36 years old, you typically see a decline far before 36. But I expect to see it at 35 for sure, he still has it.
He's never been a guy whose game was predicated on crazy athleticism.
Right.
Well, no.
So for that
but
reason,
he overachieves with what he has.
Oh yeah, but he's just so fluid in how he moves.
Yeah.
But he's not LeBron, where he's going to jump out of the gym, So I think that's part of the reason why he's been able to maintain to this late in his career. He's been to the finals one time.
I know.
Once.
Which is an indictment on his career.
Very early, too.
I just looked up to make sure it was his 3rd year in the league with OKC when he was coming off the bench.
He should have made it twice.
With 2 really good players.
Yeah.
Alongside
he should
of
have
him.
been back once again. They had that 1 year in 2018 in Houston where they were up in Game 6.
Yeah,
up
you're right.
in Game 5 when Chris Paul pulled his hamstring.
Yeah. Yep.
And they had and Harden's part of it. He was bad in Game 6 and horrific in Game 7 when the Rockets missed 27 straight threes in that game and lost to Golden State. But they should have made the finals that year.
Do you agree, Mike, that this is a legacy play for him? He's on a team that's loaded.
He's got to win a championship. And
yeah,
the beautiful part of Harden, and this goes to that
he has
list.
a chance.
Jason, I'm curious what you think of this. I was talking to somebody, and he said Harden has 3 moves. Like, as for as big of a bag as those, and beautiful and iconic as those 3 moves are, he really has 3 moves, and he's waiting to see what the defender does. And whichever way the defender reacts to his first, he just goes against it.
Yeah.
And if you take a step with your left foot, he's attacking your right
But
foot.
those moves are elite.
They're unstoppable. He's made an entire career out of being a top 75 player off of essentially a 3-move
It's like a pitcher,
package.
Mike.
Yeah.
You know,
I was just thinking Greg Maddux.
Right.
You can have 5 pitches, and they're all B- pitches. That's cool.
James has 3 A+ moves.
Give me 3 A+ pitches,
Yeah.
and you've got a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
And I think that's what James Harden is. To your point, Mike, if it was just one Hall of Fame move, then everybody would be able to shut him down. But he's good at seeing what the defender is going to do, and then he's like, oh, okay, he's going to take this away. That's okay. I'll go here.
You weren't here last week when I mentioned this, and you could even see it a little bit in the debut. But James Harden, as an offensive creator, does not want movement. He wants everyone standing still because he wants to know exactly where the defender is because he's so good at reading it. And he's going to make the right decision 98 out of 100 times where he's attacking a guy one-on-one or playing off the pick and roll. And you saw, to G's point, the chemistry with Jarrett Allen already, and to Jason's earlier point, like, we're going to do this topic later in the week. I want to get more than one game. But we're going to have to reevaluate what Jarrett Allen's ceiling is playing alongside a facility.
Maybe. Did he miss a shot? At one point, wasn't he like 11 for
11?
Hey.
He was 10 for 11.
He made his first 10. He was 10
That's
for 10.
insane.
And it wasn't looking like he was going to stop. Like, it was almost like he was playing with confidence, like, oh, no, I'm definitely one of those guys. I'm definitely a contributor. And the crazy part about it is now, I always, thought with the Cavs, like, you watch the old ISO stuff, right? And you go back and you watch LeBron and Kyrie and how masterful they were doing ISO basketball, right? And then kind of we went to the movement era, and Kenny wanted to move the ball a lot last year. But the thing about ISO ball is when your first option ain't there or your second option ain't there off some reads, what a luxury to have if you can throw the ball to Donovan Mitchell or Harden at the end of a shot clock and make something happen.
Well, I want to watch more of James play, but I remember because I don't know if this is an apt comparison or not. I need to see more of him. But when LeBron
Tonight will be good.
Yeah. And just the next few games. But LeBron, I'm talking to people who played when LeBron was here, who played with him. He may hold the ball for 20 seconds, and he's going to fire it to you with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and you better make that shot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because you don't have time to make a pass at that point.
But and Mike Miller used to say, like, LeBron's going to make the best basketball play, and you better finish it. It's up to you. It's up to you. And some guys don't like playing that way. Like, some guys really struggle with that, of being catch and shoot guys, or with being a guy's going to dribble, pound, and then at the last second kick it to you. He's going to drive, penetrate, kick, and you better make that shot. So I'm just curious to see if how similar James' style is to the second version of LeBron, especially like 17, 18 particularly, when it was just a lot of, he may sit there and pound it for 18 seconds, 19 seconds, and then kick.
That was that sound like good. That sound like being my old age.
and then I'm going to stop talking and then make the shot.
I'm so done. Mike, when does Mobley come back?
They said the first time, not this current calf injury, the last time, it was a 2 to 4 week injury.
Yeah.
He was back like 10 days later.
So are we thinking after the All-Star break? Probably, right?
There's 2 games left before the All-Star break.
Yeah, why would you rush him back? Give him that extra week.
I would assume it's post All-Star break.
I hope it is. And then you've got to figure out also, like, okay, so how does that puzzle fit together?
Yeah.
Because that'll be a different lineup, clearly. I know it's one game. And I saw a lot of the reaction on the trade. They're like, you guys are forgetting who Harden is. You're just focusing on the upside and not the baggage. And I agree with that. That's a caveat. You've got to be careful because, a Tiger doesn't change his stripes at 36. He is who he is. He can be disruptive. You don't know when he's going to pull the pin in the locker room. That's all stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
But I also know that typically when a guy is traded, particularly late in his career, this is a clean slate. He knows what the narrative is on him. He knows. And I do think that he's a guy that cares about legacy. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's, like Mike said, a top 75 player in the league all time. But you better validate that with a ring. And I think he's looking at this as, wow, here's my life raft. I've got a chance to do it this year with this group.
And to the point about the attitude, behavior, and all that, I mentioned this last week, but he got a great report out of L.A. I was talking to some people at the Clippers who said, like, he was a joy to have around here.
Wow.
It was like everything that you heard, none of that surfaced. Now, to that I would say, well, they got out at the right time. Because everything with him comes with an expiration date. And you just have to get out at the right time.
Right.
And they did. The Clippers did. So we'll see how it goes in Cleveland over the next however long.
They don't want to now. From what I'm hearing, it seems like they didn't want to guarantee him no more money. Like he had $13 million.
They didn't want to guarantee his deal for next year. So he found someone who would.
So now it puts you in a situation where I guess you got the ticking clock, right? So you got him and Donovan Mitchell, right? So how does this move? Is this a thing where they like, oh, we gotta keep Harden, or what's their long-term outlook on Harden?
I mean, the long-term outlook is keep Donovan happy and get Donovan to sign another deal. That's the long-term outlook. They can do that this summer. They can sign another deal. Donovan can sign another extension this summer, up to 4 years, and I think it's $275. I think
for the max.
Yeah. So that's goal one. Is they want Donovan to sign another max this summer, and then step two of that is figure it out with James, whether that's 1 year, 2 years, whatever. Redo his deal. He knows he's getting paid next year, and it's the way that his contract. They can't sign him to an extension. It's a new deal, and it's something that they can talk about this summer.
So theoretically, I think James at this point, he's like Carmelo Anthony. They have never given back no money. They're not planning on giving back no money.
No,
that's not true. Harden has.
On
multiple occasions.
He was mad with the Sixers because they said they was going.
Oh, the Daryl Morey thing. Yeah.
You're right.
But James is looking to get paid, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like
I'll say this real quick, Jason. Kobe Altman on the post-trade deadline press conference emphasized two things abundantly clear. Because Harden had the player option for next year, the de facto no trade clause.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He could have shut down any trade if he wanted to.
Yeah. He
accepted the deal to Cleveland, and Kobe mentioned the fact that, when they came to Cleveland, LA approached Cleveland about this. It was because Harden identified Cleveland as an opportunity where he thought he could fit in, win a championship. And two, they can't start renegotiating contracts till after the finals. So it's not like we're going to see any kind of extension between now and June.
Right.
They made it seem, and Kobe made it seem abundantly clear that both sides were eager to knock out some sort of 2-year deal. But I'm going to guess about between 70 and 80 million if I had to guess.
I think the elephant in the room is the prospect that LeBron comes here next year, which seems like it's more and more likely as time goes on.
Yeah.
Let's just dream for a second. What would that look like? A big three of Harden, LeBron. I know it's geriatric sounding, but Donovan Mitchell. I don't know if you keep Evan Mobley in that mix.
I think Evan is here.
I mean, if that's not a championship or bust team, I haven't seen one.
Yeah, I do think it's possible. I think if LeBron plays next year, I believe, just personally, just my opinion, I believe he's probably back here. If this is where he's going to be.
I think so too, and I would even lean towards he is going to play because he's made some comments about not doing the grand tour. LeBron's a grand tour kind of guy.
You would think.
Yeah.
He's not going out without the grand tour.
There are people around him who think like they could see him walking away. But I tend to think he's going to play next year.
Especially when the team would be so set up to win. I mean, everybody probably dreams of, but very few. I think John Elway got to do it. Very few ride out on that white horse holding the trophy. He could do that, and if that happened, not that it's Jordan's 6-0 in the finals, but he would finish 5-6 in the finals.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's so tempting. How could he not do it?
The storybook ending. Some guys seem to want it, and some guys don't seem to care about it, right? Like
Yeah.
some guys like, I mean, Michael ended his career with the Wizards,
Right.
Or Jerry Rice in a Seahawks jersey, or whatever. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, that's crazy.
But
But I think Michael's ego was such that he actually thought that he
could still win.
He could carry
Yeah.
the Wizards, and that would be his exclamation point to an incredible career.
But LeBron feels like I mean, if you remember back the night when he came back and he goes to the University of Akron Stadium and he does a lap around the whole stadium and he stands on the stage and says, "I'm back, I love you," and the fireworks going on. Like, that's him. He
That
loves
is
that
him.
type of stuff.
He's a showman.
And what better? That's a great word. And what better way than to cap a magnificent, brilliant career than to come home and try and win a
And-
I'm good
championship?
for- I'm
and,
good.
and I think all three, and then all three of them have. See, I believe in basketball, you got to have the same pressure points or some sort of. They got to have something that is driving them. And each individual, if the Cavs don't win this year, Donovan Mitchell, he hasn't won. James Harden has not won. And LeBron James is coming home trying to put a little cherry on his legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ain't got no reason enough to play hard for that, they'll all play hard.
Now, there are obstacles because again, just my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think he's taking the league minimum to come back here.
I don't think he would either.
So you at least have to get to the mid-level.
Yeah.
And you got to have to figure that out. So there are obstacles to overcome.
That's a lot easier to do that than it is to, give him what he would want.
Yeah,
at the top
and
end.
I mean, I don't think it's realistic for him to come in and demand $40 million. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He's not the player that he. I love LeBron. He's not the player that
and
he
I
was.
think he knows that too.
He does. Yeah.
I mean,
But boy, what a way to end a career.
He done
And
made $1 billion.
I think would that undo, because there's still some animosity with a large number of fans that he left us twice. Would coming home and winning a second one, would that undo all of that?
I don't think you can pay. And I think those people are weirdos, and you can't pay any attention to them.
I know they're weirdos, but I'm just saying there is a faction of folks who, when you bring his name up, they still say, "I don't want him back."
I mean, I don't know what you want. I mean, he came back and won a championship.
Yeah.
So what if
Well,
that's
if he did
not
it
making
twice,
good-
I think they would have. They would
Had
be
he
so
le-
foolish to open their mouth with hate again.
Had he left without winning, okay, you can hate him.
Yeah.
He won a freaking title.
he delivered. He
for
delivered.
them 4 years here, he saved. Do you remember we had Christmas Day games?
Yeah. Oh,
We-
I was there.
talking-
I remember.
Like that was the Warriors versus the Cavs was the greatest rivalry moving at that time, and we was in the middle of the epicenter. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? This is what we supposed to want.
Well, and not only that, he because of
3-1?
the timing of it, Cleveland was in a bit of a spiral, downtown Cleveland, and it was the LeBronomy. His economic impact on Fourth and downtown in the area, and we forget because it's not like that anymore. And there are a lot of businesses on Fourth that have shuttered. And when he is here, the fact of the matter is, every regular season game, I don't care if it's February 3rd, I don't care if it's April 11th, I don't care if it's October 31st. It is an event,
Yep.
and people, even if they can't get a ticket to the game,
Yep.
they want to be around that energy.
I remember when he announced he was coming back. Later on, I went to Harry Buffalo, right there down the street
Yeah.
from the arena, and the manager I was talking to said this place filled up within an hour of the announcement. Like it was like Cleveland had just won the finals. People
crazy.
in the Harry Buffalo
Middle of the day.
middle of the day,
And think about that.
and they sold out their season tickets
Right
in
away.
one day.
Yeah, right away.
If he does that again, it'll be the same thing.
It will.
He will take up all the oxygen in the entire summer. Shout out to Guardians. Guardians, spend $5. You do something.
Spend $10.
Spend $10, dog, because it's gonna be ugly.
But it is like, and I don't want to turn this team this year as constructed can win a championship.
Yes.
So I don't
Yeah.
want to talk
Yes.
every day about LeBron.
That-
No,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
right.
the
You're
next
right.
year, because it does a disservice to this team.
Right.
I just
This
wanted to
team
bring
has
it up because
constituted.
It's
like
worth
if I'm
having-
James Harden and I know LeBron and I've had conversations with LeBron, maybe in a private moment he has said you need to go to Cleveland. I don't know. But the fact that he is here tells me that it is a legacy play and that he might be thinking that LeBron is coming next year. And that may have weighed in to his decision to waive it to come to Cleveland.
Well, we're going to talk later whether or not the Cavs with Harden are the favorites in the East this year. We'll deal with the LeBron and the future stuff in the future. But let's talk Browns for a second, guys. Before we do that, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Do us a favor. Help us get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're at 82,000 and change right now. Trying to get to 100,000. 6 digits sounds nice in 2026. So help us get there. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It is totally free. Costs you $0.00. During Friday's show, we got news that Jim Schwartz had officially resigned as the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. And over the weekend, we learned, according to Tom Pelissero, that the Browns have interviewed at least 2 internal candidates already. Jason Tarver, who's their linebackers coach, and Ephraim Banda, I believe I pronounced that right, who is currently their safeties coach. Todd Monken said at his introductory press conference he was intending to keep most of the defensive staff regardless of what happened to Jim Schwartz, so maybe that signals more of an internal hire. But, G, if it was up to you, do you think Todd Monken should go internal and promote from within, or look to bring in an external candidate to fill the Browns' now vacant defensive coordinator position?
Hey, man, this is the easiest question you done already gave me. This is an internal candidate all day and twice on Sunday, and it probably going to end up being Tarver. They like him around the league. He got some experience. He's the linebackers coach, so that means Carson Schwarzenegger is the one calling the plays. That's the person that's naming out different things on the defense. And the smartest thing Todd Monken did, and shout out to him because I don't know if they came up with this behind closed doors, but he was like, look, man, hey, Jim Schwartz, I didn't come here to coach with Jim Schwartz. I came here because Myles Garrett is out there. When I'm an offensive coordinator and I need to get people together, I got to chip Myles Garrett. And the best thing that he did was he put everybody at ease. I feel like everybody walking around doing interviews now at ease because he said something and I was like, man, oh, that was very smart. He said, oh, no, we're not changing the defense. I've already asked for years. Why don't you just simply cut, copy, and paste what somebody was doing and just run it? So, hey, bring me back to linebackers coach. Bring me to safeties coach. If any of the defensive players was upset that Jim Schwartz is not going to be here, he put that to bed by saying, I know that's your guy, that's your man. But let me just tell you something. You got 35 sacks or how many sacks you got because you're Myles Garrett and you nice. Denzel Ward, you were a perennial Pro Bowler because you can cover people. We're not going to recreate the wheel. We're not going to come in here and I'm going to bring a bunch of outside dudes in because guess what? This team is built a certain way and it's built to run that defense. So let me find somebody that's going to take a promotion that can come on here, run some of the same things they've been running, and we're going to keep the party rolling. So to me, I think it's smart that he does an internal candidate because it gives you some buy-in. Myles Garrett is not putting no memes up that, sitting outside of the Popeyes. And you're going to know that, guys, if you was eating before, you'll continue to eat. If you was getting sacks and you loved the defense before, don't be worried about that. We're going to keep some of the guys, the pieces, and we're going to keep rolling. So I think it'll be an internal hire. I just think he's going to keep most of the defensive staff because that was the successful part so you can concentrate on offense.
I think the smart play would have been to keep continuity and have Jim Schwartz be the defensive coordinator.
Jim Schwartz that's
the smartest play. Let me ask you a question, Jason, because I heard over the weekend, and I didn't get a chance to read much because I was very busy this weekend, but someone told me over the weekend that the ship has not sailed on Jim Schwartz, that there could be some sort of a common ground found, and that it's not a complete done deal that he doesn't come back. Is this?
I would be surprised.
Fake news?
I mean, listen, anything's possible. Until they fill that spot, anything's possible, or until he's somewhere else, if they work something out with him. I would be surprised if he's back. I talked to somebody who knows him well. I mentioned this last week. This person said, I would drop dead if he went back to the Browns.
Now, was that before or after he resigned?
Before.
Before.
Yeah, it was before. So I would be surprised. Anything is possible.
Yeah, I only asked because I was hoping that you had heard similar reports or rumors, because I don't even think it's a report yet.
Yeah.
This was
no, I mean
inside whispers.
Right.
And to me, I think that would be the smart play. Gee, outside of that, you're right. What you miss obviously is the preparation for a specific opponent. Like, I don't think that should be downplayed. Yes, you need a template.
Yeah.
And the template has to say the same. You can't. The last thing you could ever think about doing now is say, yeah, we're going to be a 3-4 all of a sudden. You're buried in the 4-3 world. That's a done deal, and that's fine. I think they play it well. I was going to save this thought originally for the Super Bowl, but I'll just give a little tidbit of it now. I've been saying for 3 years that the pendulum is swinging in the NFL from this crazy pinball offense to a defensive league.
Yeah.
And if the Buffalo-Kansas City AFC Championship game was the apex of the offensive era, and I think it was, I feel like we could be either entering the apex or we're in the apex of the defensive era. And I just give you this year's playoffs, for example. It's always been about the quarterbacks. Well, who had Sam Darnold and Drake May being the Super Bowl quarterbacks? The two teams that were in the Super Bowl were the number 1 rated defense and the number 4 rated defense. And the number 1 rated defense had to beat the number 2 rated or the number 1 rated offense in the conference championship game to get to the Super Bowl. They beat the Rams not once but twice this season. And watching the game, and sometimes I think, and I love him, but sometimes I think Collinsworth can be a little prisoner of the moment and a little hyperbolic. But he said last night, and he paused before he said it, which told me he was thinking, do I go with this? He said that this was the greatest single defensive effort he had ever seen.
That's
crazy.
It's
crazy.
Now, hold on. Before you say it's crazy, they got 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. One was set up. One was their fourth quarter touchdowns. No team has ever been shut out in a Super Bowl. I'm not going to put this Seahawks defense in with the Ravens and the Buccaneers and the Bears.
Or even their own Legion of Boom.
Even their own Legion of Boom. However, what I will say is sleep on this defense at your own peril.
It's good. It's a very good defense.
It's a great defense. And they proved that throughout the year. And they won a Super Bowl that way. And I think that bodes very well for the Cleveland Browns, and here's why.
Yeah.
Not that, and I don't want to take anything away from Darnold because Darnold is an unbelievable reclamation story, but it's still in the Super Bowl. If someone would have wrote on a piece of paper in July that here are your Super Bowl quarterbacks, you would have said that that's impossible. Yet it happened. So I think that, and I'm not going to kiss off the quarterback era. Quarterbacks are still hugely important in this league.
Yeah.
But what can top an elite quarterback is an elite defense. And they beat the 2 top guys for the MVP in the league, right?
They did.
I think
They stopped them.
Very, very different fashions.
Very different fashions. One, when the offense needed to outscore a high-powering offense, they did. And it's not like their defense completely shut the Rams' offense down. I thought that was the Super Bowl. I thought the Rams and Seahawks was the Super Bowl.
Those are the 2 best teams.
I did not think that the Patriots could stay on the field with the Seahawks because of that defense. So I bring all that up to say this. Our defense is probably not in Seattle's league, but we're a top-tier defense. And if you can get to a quarterback or get to a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold and Drake May, you don't need a top 5 quarterback because nobody has, now they might be in their top 5, but coming into this year, even after the year that Darnold had last year and the promise of Drake May, I don't think anybody had them coming into the year as top 5s.
No.
Like, it makes the Super Bowl feel more attainable. These 2 teams missed the playoffs last year.
And the quarterbacks didn't even play that well yesterday.
They did not. In fact, they both played poorly.
Bad.
They played poorly.
So, I was listening to...
And it was a running back that was the best offensive player in this game was a running back. So I think this shift from offense to defense that's happened slowly before our eyes...
you might have something, because I know you and Bull used to argue about this.
I thought Bull was going to be here today, and I thought he would push back on that. I know he would if he was here.
I look at it, and some of the stuff over the last 3 years is at this point is undeniable that before, if you just had a top 5 quarterback, you can almost write your script, and you can guarantee that you're gonna have a really good shot. Now, it ain't so much about you gotta have a really good team, bro. You gotta have a good defense. You gotta have a good coach. And I think what happened that really caught defenses up is the precipitous gain in the way defensive linemen are just now number one or number two, the best athletes on the field, and the offensive line.
In some cases, the second highest paid player on the team,
and
in some cases, the highest.
And the offensive line has gotten to a point where, like, I mean, even your best offensive lines, right? Like, shout out to poor Will Campbell, my boy. Look,
oh my goodness!
Shout out to the young man. He wasn't playing that bad.
But they get 7 sacks.
I mean, but they was like they showed levels to it, and so now it's a thing where. You got a good defense. You got a nice running game. Their coach was like, "Nah." I knew it was a wrap when it was 9-0 going into the half. I said, "Oh, they're not scoring."
You know what it felt like at that point? You know what I said? I go, "I'm watching Jim Tressel coach," because that was Tressel ball.
Yeah,
that was play defense, kick field goals, and don't press it. Don't take chances. And heck, it was 12-0. They had 4 field goals. That was the only scoring in the game.
And it
point.
And it felt 28-0.
It felt like it was long over. And so I do think that we're getting to that point. So if that's the case, and the defense of your team, like the Cleveland Browns, is clearly the strength, the last thing you're going to think about doing is changing the formula. You're a 4-3 defense. If you bring in one of the guys that's already here and has some sort of working knowledge of what was going on, I feel that's your best bet. I feel like, and by the way, again, getting back to this, defense is now the dominant part of the ball. This was the first time, and I don't think it was the first time ever, but maybe it was, that the head coach was the defensive play caller.
Yeah, you don't see that very often.
No, I mean, to me it feels like, wow, we're back into the Belichick days. We're back into the Giants, the Parcells, the late 90s, early 90s, into the mid 90s, where those defenses dominated, and that carried over into Belichick and his run at New England. But
I disagree.
The fact that the head coach is the defensive play caller,
yeah, Chris Collinsworth.
Never happened.
Collinsworth, you missed one. The most dominant defensive performance I've ever seen is the Giants versus the New England Patriots, when they had Tom Brady and Randy Moss, and Randy Moss had 20 touchdowns.
Well, they
25.
rewrote the record book that year.
I mean, they
score 17 or 14?
Like they was doing it with 4 people. They was like, yeah, we're just gonna run our 4 guys, and they was getting home on them. So there's been some great defensive performance.
That Bears defense, when they beat the Patriots in the 86 Super Bowl. What was that, like 55-7 or something?
The Ravens beat the Giants in 2000.
The Ravens defense.
Patriots versus Rams was really good because the Rams at the time when McVay first got there.
I covered that one. That game was awful.
Wasn't it terrible? I was thinking about that game when I was watching this game. Yeah. I was like, yeah, this is one of the nastiest.
Do you get a sense, Jay, that they're going to go with one of these guys that were already there?
I don't.
That's the only 2 names I've heard.
Yeah, I'm going to keep saying Nick Rawlis.
Okay.
As a guy and that's just my opinion. That's not any reporting. Arizona's in flux right now. Mike LaFleur is still building the staff. They've got Rawlis under contract there, but it doesn't sound like they're going to keep him, which I'm a little bit surprised by that. But if they move on from him as DC, I would 100% bring him in immediately as an interview. Now, the weird thing is he's probably going to want to bring some of his own guys, and you're trying to keep as much of this staff intact as possible. So that may mean it has to be sort of an internal promotion, because I think anybody's going to want people that he's comfortable with and familiar with.
And so I think the more continuity, the better.
That's going to be tricky from their standpoint. But I really like what the Cardinals did defensively. That's a team. That's a guy I would want. That'd be my first phone call.
Okay.
As the Cardinals.
Mike's got a name. Mike, who do you have?
Well, I mean, they did interview Aiden Dirty, the Seattle Seahawks defensive coordinator, for their head coaching job a couple weeks ago. Like,
he was the first one.
I'm just saying, if there's a defensive coordinator that's put together a hell of a resume that runs a 4-3, that is as hot a candidate as anyone, considering what he just accomplished working alongside Mike McDonald.
I know, but you know what? I would almost say that
I certainly wouldn't be against
being Mike McDonald's defensive coordinator is a little like being Andy Reid's offensive coordinator. It's title only. You're not even calling the plays.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe he is one of the next in line, because Sean McVay calls the plays in Los Angeles, and all his offensive coordinators have gotten
his tree's
jobs,
been
and
his
a lot of those
crazy.
guys have hit. So I'm just saying that's a guy who helped orchestrate a defense that just shut down the Patriots.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
He's
see.
a guy, at least externally, that fits the 4-2
It's expected that Kubiak's going to be named the Raiders head coach.
already officially named.
Oh, that happened this morning?
Yeah.
I didn't waste any time on that.
I think what the Browns is doing though, like to a certain extent, I don't know. I didn't hear nobody really say this, but I just feel like that they telling the defense, "Hey, look, y'all should know how to operate by now, right?" like I'm putting it on Myles Garrett. Hey, listen, you got 20-something sacks. I got Denzel Ward. I got Carson
but you know what I'm always go back to? When we lost Bill Callahan, everybody's like, it's good, man. Everybody's back.
Yep.
And they look like someone put 5 bags over their head.
Well, you know
blew
that
a whistle and said, "Go."
I think that offensive line is a very different. I think it's a different position because of think about it. He's teaching them not only scheme, he's teaching them run blocking, pass blocking. Like the fact that I still don't understand why, just like we don't have kicking coaches, I don't understand why there's not specifically a centers coach, a guards coach, and a tackle coach.
For a league that leaves nothing a chance.
Like you got one guy trying to teach 3 different positions with different skill sets.
Really 5, because the left tackle's a lot different than the right tackle.
You're right. So to me, I would have guys out there moving around. But look, hey, listen, shout out to Carson Sweatshirter and Myles Garrett. If you think about, what they have a bunch of guys back there that have played a lot of football together for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So whoever they bring in, you guys should be okay. Like, I don't want to hear like, oh, Jim Schwartz is gone, we just fell apart. Nah, bro. I still need you to go over there and get to this quarterback. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Hope they do, because that was the strength of their team.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame if the strength of their team got blown up as well.
Yeah.
When the whole mission, when they went into hiring a new head coach, was to keep that side of the ball intact.
Yeah. So, and by the way, I'm not going to sit up here and act like, Jim Schwartz is a non-factor now. Like, obviously, I told people before I would like to see Jim Schwartz get an opportunity to be the head coach. It didn't happen. They moved, they parted ways. But in general, I will say the game plans that you put together, that is a big part of it, and Jim Schwartz was doing those game plans.
Yeah.
So,
and then that's the macro, and then the micro, the internal, like your third quarter, 37. What are you going to do? Are you going to send pressure? Are you, there's a flow and a skill and an art to that. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing it for the first time or you're doing it for the 30th time, that's a big difference.
Makes a difference. Let's flip to the other side of the ball, guys. Later tonight, though, Earl and G are going to do a Ultimate 216 show. I'm not sure exactly what time it's going to be hitting the YouTube page, but make sure you guys check out the Ultimate 216 show with Earl and G Bush later tonight. All right, guys. Also over the weekend, a little NFL and quarterback news. It was announced that our old friend Kevin Stefanski down in Atlanta has decided to let Kirk Cousins go. The Falcons are expected to release Kirk Cousins before the start of the new league year in March, allowing him to choose where he wants to play in 2026. That was the report from Adam Schefter. Both Jimmy Haslam and Todd Monken said they expect to win games in 2026 one way or another. So, Jason, do you think the Browns, under the nuance that winning games is a priority for this team next year, will have any interest in the elder statesman Kirk Cousins, who did lead the Falcons to a 5-2 record over his final 7 starts of the season last year?
Yeah, this is tricky because, well, first of all, it's funny. Kevin was asked about Cousins during his introductory press conference in Atlanta, and he immediately pivoted to how excited he was about Michael Penix. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty obvious where this was headed as soon as he wouldn't even talk about Cousins and said, he was excited to see Michael come back. And the Browns have obviously been linked to Cousins because of the connection to Kevin. But I don't think the Browns under Kevin were ever really that interested in bringing him in. That goes back to the offseason of Deshaun. When they pursued Deshaun, Baker and Baker's camp believed that the Browns were going after Cousins, and they never were. So I don't think that Stefanski is nearly as infatuated with Kirk Cousins as
clearly
everyone
not.
else seems to think that he is.
Clearly not.
So any prior ties between Cousins and the Browns, I think it was a little off, just because of they just assumed, with Kevin he would want him back. But I do think you need to look at some sort of veteran like him. If they are serious about winning games, I'm still having a hard time figuring out the plan of what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, has the goalpost moved with Jimmy's comments that, we're trying to win in 2026?
Well, he said they're going to win more games than they did last year.
Yeah, so that sets a bar.
It absolutely sets a bar.
Where last year I didn't feel like there was a bar set.
And certainly there were games last year they had opportunities to win and didn't. The Jets game, obviously.
They also won
the Titans game.
A game or two.
They stole the Packers game that they had no business winning.
None.
The Bengals. So I get that part, I guess. I just don't know what I'm gonna have a hard time figuring out what their long-term plan is here. But whether I think they got to make some sort of move. Whether it's Cousins, whether it's Mac Jones, whether it's Willis, I don't know yet which one I want to plant a flag in terms of who they need to bring in as some sort of competition or whatever. But if they are really rolling into next season with Shedeur and Deshaun, and I don't think they are, I think that they will bring in something. But if that's the plan going in. Okay, I don't know how you're getting significantly over the 5 wins that you got last year with that plan.
Right. I agree with that. I think that I watched a lot of Kirk Cousins after he was put back in as the starting quarterback, and he still has it. He didn't look like he'd lost the fastball to me. Hell, he almost got the Falcons into the playoffs. That division was so wonky. Didn't everybody finish 8-9?
They finished 8-9 and just happened to have the third tiebreaker.
Right.
So they finished with the same record as the Panthers, who won that division.
Right, and I think 5 of those wins came after Kirk was the starter, right?
Yeah. So Kirk started 8 games last year, went 5-3. But
there you go.
1 in week 8. Then Penix came back. And he took over in week 12. They won, lost, and then won 4 in a row to end the season.
Won 4 straight. To me, I watched him. Is he ideal? Is he a long-term? No. But look how many times in the last couple of years they've brought in these one-year bridges. When they brought Flacco in as a one-year bridge and then let him go and then brought him back, all they did was say, well, we goofed up, but we let him go. We should have kept him here. He was already in the system.
And then they traded him again.
And they brought Jameis Winston in as the same thing. I would think Jameis might even be an option. But for me, of all of the possible names, I think Kirk gives them the best chance to win in 2026 if that's what the goal is. That may not be the goal. It may be the stated and public goal.
Right.
But when can the GM come out and say, well, we're good if we lose more games next year, that's okay? He can't say that.
Yeah.
He's got to say to the public that, of course, it's our goal. And you never know. You hope that even if one of the quarterbacks on the roster now, whether it ends up being Watson or Shedeur or whomever ends up being the starter, you're not going to go into the season and think, well, we're going to get 4 wins. You're going to try. You're going to hope and see what happens. Maybe you catch lightning in the bottle like the Vikings did last year with Darnold. You just don't know. But to me, you've got to go with a proven commodity there. And I don't think we currently have that on our roster. We've got a guy that shows flash. We've got a guy that was great 6 years ago. And then we got another rookie. Do they draft a quarterback? I mean, I don't know. I don't know where they're going.
I think they got a plan, and it's kind of evident. It's a difference between thinking they don't have a plan or knowing seeing what the plan is, and you just don't necessarily agree with it. I think when you're talking about veteran quarterbacks or bringing somebody in to compete, the reality is you got Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, in terms of his resume and what he used to be, is higher than anybody available on your open market.
Oh, by far.
By far. When it comes to Deshaun Watson and the amount of money that you are on the books for, he's the most expensive player on your roster. And you really can't move that.
Be nice if you could get something out of him.
So the thought process is, oh no, we just got a brand new coach. We got a guy who's worked with Lamar Jackson. We got a guy. It's just like having an old car outside. You got an old car and you're like, man, I need an engine. But you get a retired mechanic from Ferrari, and he's been working at Ferrari for years. He done worked on jets, airplanes, everything. And he said, listen, let me take a look at that car. You're gonna say, oh, well, listen, I wasn't going to fire the car up. It's just sitting over there. Let's see what this mechanic can do. If you like Todd Monken and he's been working with Lamar Jackson, you want to give him the opportunity to see what he can see and what he's going to do. So if I'm already on the money and on the hook for it, if you talk about bringing a veteran, well, I got an expensive veteran. You want to tell about a bridge quarterback? I got an expensive bridge quarterback. You want to talk about a quarterback who got a little bit of a resume and has done some things. Well, I got him too. It's not a guarantee that it's going to get it done, but you already have that on the roster. Now, you go to the development piece. You got a quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, who's showed you something, shown some flashes here or there, but then again, you got a brand new coach who's known for offense, and I want to see what he can do with him. So my thing is, yes, they want to win football games, but in 2026, I think their goal is two things. They want to see what they have in Shedeur Sanders, which is why I believe that he will start off as quarterback one and have the full leeway to get it off in the beginning of the season. Now, what he does in the beginning of the season is going to keep him on the field.
You believe that the plan is for Shedeur to be the starter week 1?
Yes.
Wow. Jay, do you believe that?
Yeah.
Well, they've said multiple times that anything is possible, and they're looking at all options. They could bring someone in.
Well, to me, that screams there is no plan.
Why would I don't know? You could say there is no plan until we get to free agency and trade, and then see. Like the Super Bowl was just yesterday.
No, I know, but at the same time, because he's familiar with the division and he's familiar with these guys, he's not going to share it with the public. By the way, nor should he yet. Todd Monken has a very strong opinion on every quarterback on the roster.
Absolutely,
every one of them. And to me, what we haven't heard is a definitive pecking order. We haven't even heard that.
But it's smart for him not to even divulge the pecking order. The smart thing would be for him to actually go in, get through the preseason, get through the offseason program, and actually evaluate.
Well, yeah, but
can they play?
Yeah, right. Well, then that would mean that he doesn't have his mind made up yet.
Well, no.
If you're going to evaluate, and see again, because of what he has said and what he hasn't said, to me that leaves me to believe that I haven't made any preconceived ideas of who my starter. I believe if he felt like the starter was clear in his mind, he could say things that would lean us that way. He hasn't done that. I think what you just said is the smart thing to do. Okay, I got 3 guys, and I have no idea how they're going to run my offense.
Right.
None. So the last thing I'm going to do is put anybody's name in pen.
Yeah.
I'm going to pencil all 3 names in at quarterback, and there's going to be no specific order, and I'm going to give all of them a chance to win or lose the job. And that's why I haven't shut the door on Deshaun Watson. We don't know what he's going to look like. We don't know where he is on his rehabilitation. I went back and looked at his numbers before the Achilles tear, and what's weird is they were not great, but what we saw from different people after him make his numbers look not as bad as I thought they were. I'm like, okay, maybe we can live with that.
We saw DTR, was like, hold on, was that bad?
Right, exactly. So I think that because of the salary piece of this, you've almost got to get something out of this guy. To spend that much money for an empty locker is waving a white flag. So I don't think there's any decisions have been made. Now, he might say in his mind, Andrew, he's not on this roster. Okay? I'll tell you that. So we've got to do something. And that's when you might see them make a move for Kirk Cousins or another quarterback that they believe can be a 1-year bridge.
Well, I don't think Monken's making that call if he's on the roster or not. They've already
that's
pretty clear that he's going to be here, which blows my mind. But it's not. Yeah, but it's not worth.
Compare what they said about the quarterback last year at this time compared to what actually happened.
Yeah, they were going to keep 4 quarterbacks. You know as well as I do, the Browns make a plan on a bar napkin, and it's worth just as much.
And Todd Monken. So yesterday I talked about this. Todd Monken is not in a position. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't season. If you come out and you say Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback number 1 right now before you see him play, before he got to practice, people are going to say, what the heck is that?
Oh, yeah, that's why you can't do that. You can't.
But if you come out and say, oh, well, I don't want to mention Shedeur Sanders' name, I don't know, and you don't mention him, you don't say what you do like about him, then it's people saying, well, Todd Monken, the coach, don't even like him like that.
But, here's the thing with football today, particularly in Cleveland, man, this fan base, that's called noise. Yeah. And you got to tune that out. Because if you start making decisions based on, if I don't put Shedeur in there, people are going to be mad at me. No. If I don't play Deshaun, people are going to be mad at me. No. The way you quiet the noise is you pick the right guy. and then in week 1 he goes out there and you prove that you picked the right guy.
Yeah, like you quiet the
But you can't pick the guy today.
So that's why how you quiet the noise a little bit is being like, well, listen, I like all of them. They're cool. Like I thought one of the biggest mistakes was saying last year there was open quarterback competition because it set an unfair precedent and you had to stick to it now. Instead of being like, listen, we like these young dudes. I don't even know if they even gonna sniff the field this year, but we're gonna develop them and see what happens. But I think Todd Monken and what the Browns are doing is correct. Hey, we don't know. You got the draft coming up. There's no way you're supposed to take yourself out of a quarterback conversation
you're
when the
saying,
draft
though,
is
that
coming
you think
up.
that's lip service and that they've actually already decided that 12 is going to be the quarterback.
Well, I think that he has the narrow advantage going into it. Myles Garrett said the other day, he was like, he's the last guy who was on the football field.
I saw that.
Denzel Ward said, listen,
But those guys aren't going to make the decision.
They're not going to make it was funny because Myles Garrett said we.
Yeah, I know he did. I heard that. And I'm like, I don't see Todd Monken behind you.
Myles Garrett got to sack room. He said, yeah, how we going to do this?
So this is what we're going to do. Our starting left guard is going to be,
Well, Myles also said last year he knew the plans at quarterback, and clearly that's
right.
No, he didn't. Nobody did.
And I think they all told everybody, like, I really think Andrew Berry's like, hey, guys, we non-committal. Here's the pecking order. We're non-committal. You're going to hear quarterback questions all year. We're non-committal on them. We may do something in the draft. We may do something in free agency. We like the people we got internally. But please believe that behind closed doors, I always take a look at this. I found it very interesting. When Todd Monken got here, Shedeur Sanders left Fashion Week and came back and met Todd Monken. When Todd Monken got here, Deshaun Watson was in Europe still spending money. He was having a good old time. Now, usually, generally speaking, I know how this kind of works is when the head coach come in and it's a new head coach and you want to, my question is, and I've always asked people too, where is this Deshaun? Here's how I be thinking that I told people before. I believe that they told Deshaun Watson, you got in trouble because we gave you a guaranteed deal. The syndicate had already told us we're not going to do that. We're not allowed to give him contracts. We've been on probation. I think that they told Deshaun Watson, you be a good soldier. Sam Darnold and some of these other Geno Smith reclamation projects done something. If you keep your head down, don't say nothing. We'll make sure do your work. We'll make sure you get another opportunity. My question is, here's the thing that people should point at. If he was really in contention like that, right? Why have we not spoken to Deshaun Watson in years?
What do you mean?
We have. There's no interview.
Listen, I applaud that. You know what that's part of? Get your ass in the building, do your work, and get home. Stay off social media. Don't do podcasts.
So
just emerge one day out of the phone booth and say, I'm back.
Why would you?
I'm back.
If I was a reporter, I would want to know. Hey,
well, listen, it's not that we don't want to know.
Todd is here. Deshaun, do you feel like you're a starting quarterback? Do you feel like this is still your team?
Well, we'll get our crack at him at camp.
And
that's probably the first crack we'll get at him. But I'm good with that. I actually like that.
I don't got a problem with it.
And the other thing, too, about like this competition, I was having a conversation Saturday night with a group of Browns fans, and it was kind of mixed. The topic was who's the quarterback, and it was a mixed bag. Some people were like, he's not on the roster. Some people said it's Shedeur. Some people said it's Deshaun. And one of the people that was arguing for Shedeur said, I can't even believe this is a competition. Like, it's his job. He ended the season that way. And I said, no, that's not how it works. And here's the other thing, too, and I said this to him, and I don't know that he grasped it, but I would say this to all the Shedeur fans that are saying, it's his job, shut down the conversation.
I don't know.
That's dangerous, and here's why. He did not win the starting quarterback job last year. He got it by default from injury. If I'm a Shedeur fan, here's what I'm rooting for. Bring in Kirk.
But
have an open competition. I feel my guy's the guy. He can win.
I talk to a lot of Shedeur fans.
They don't feel that way.
No.
They feel like, this job should be his.
No, there are a lot of Shedeur fans that is like, whatever it is, like whatever competition you want, it's a new coach.
That's what it should be. And here's why. Whoever wins the starting quarterback job is going to truly win the job. No one's going to be tapped on the shoulder and say, it's your turn. What's going to happen is, whether they bring Kirk in or another name or draft a guy, they're going to have camp. Todd Monken's going to put all of his players in the system. He's going to make the decision. before September which one gives the Browns the best chance to win the most games. If I'm rooting for Deshaun Watson or Shedeur or whomever, I want that free and open competition, and I want my guy to win so I can say to everybody, he's clearly the best.
Here's what
he wasn't rooted into the starting job by fans.
Here's what I want. I literally want this. I was talking to Tyvus about this. I want Deshaun Watson to come back and be on his A game
and push Shedeur to the limit.
I want him to be out here cooking.
Because if Deshaun's better, they're all better.
Because I need you, and Todd Monken, I like this. I want you to come in to work every single day and look at a dude on the other side of you that can make throws that like, ooh, he cooking today. I need that leverage. I need that maximum pressure. And I think Shedeur ready for it because he said, listen, Todd Monken got put in. Todd Monken, they came and talked about what it was. He said, it's time to get to work. That's what it is. It's time. And for the Browns in general, we may not see who the quarterback is in the roster. We may not see, okay, well, I don't see it yet. But the thing about football is you got to go out there and you got to get better every single week. And the Browns is not – nobody's going to put the Browns in the Super Bowl from now until whatever June happens. So we're not going to know because by the time they play again, it's going to be hot outside. So there's a lot of it's a lot
and
of
that feels like 100 years.
That's 100 years around, especially how cold it is now. But the thing that Todd Monken has to do is he has to foster a sense of competition and knowing that every single day you come in there, you better have your A game on ready to go.
And I agree with that 100%. That's why I disagree with your statement that he's already got 12 as his starting quarterback.
Well, no,
I just don't think that's the case.
No, I think people. You always start with a list, right? There has to be somebody number one on the list.
You do, and I think you do in terms of reps. But remember, if he ends up being the first, the quarterback that's QB1, and Deshaun Watson ends up being QB3. Are we then going to say, oh, well, he didn't get any reps with the first team?
No. I think this is the cool thing about it. This is a reset.
And with the new coach. I agree with that.
The scary thing for a bunch of players is, I said it before, there's going to be 3 players that used to be good for the Browns that might not be good no more.
Right. because the
evaluator's different, right?
Yep, you're right.
So it's everything. You even hear Coach Prime say it. He said, man, listen, hey, I want you to be right next to the coordinator, in the coordinator.
Yes.
You're living in his house.
Yes.
Because now is your opportunity, believe it or not, whether it's Deshaun Watson, whether it's Dylan Gabriel, whether it's Shedeur Sanders, it's your opportunity to resurrect your career, to continue your career, or the chance to be a starting quarterback in the league. It's up to you to take the man on roll with it.
If he does, there's like a year ago, there's like, oh, his career is probably over. He'll never play for another team. What we just saw yesterday has to be so much motivation for Deshaun Watson, and here's why. If you would have told Deshaun Watson 5 years ago, this dude on the Jets, he's going to win a Super Bowl. He resurrected his career. The model is, the die has been set. If as hard as it is for us to ever imagine that the Browns would extend Deshaun Watson, go out and do what Sam Darnold did. And then how do you not renew him?
Man, it just goes to show you, man, that's why the game of football is a great game. It doesn't matter what I say or you say, what we write.
What do you do?
It's what you do on the field. And Sam Darnold, he reinvigorated his career. He was left for dead. He wasn't no good. Now he's Super Bowl champ.
How many teams has he played on? 5?
Who, Darnold?
Yeah.
Jets,
Panthers,
Niners,
Vikings,
Seahawks.
5 teams.
5 teams. And if you Deshaun Watson or if you Shedeur Sanders, you say, well, listen, if that can happen to him, I could be a 5th round pick and get there. Or if you Deshaun Watson and say, I've made Pro Bowls, I was at the top of the food chain, who's saying I can't get back
and
there?
Now he's part of what, like a 40-man club? Sam Darnold is one of 40?
And then he got the
winning quarterbacks there have been.
Then he got the big deal. He cashed the bag.
And just last year, after the Vikings saw what he was capable of, they're like, no, we're good. And what happened to the Vikings?
That's tough.
And so if I'm Deshaun Watson, once upon a time his stock was far higher and greater than Sam Darnold.
He was top 3.
So I'm thinking, I never had him that high, but I had him top 7 or 8. But I would say if you literally can look at a guy who you once upon a time were head and shoulders better than, and he just resurrected his career and won a Super Bowl, that's my motivational fire right there. That's it. Okay, I've got one shot.
And why wouldn't you kick the? So even if you got him on your roster, Jay, that begs the question. You got him on your roster. You can't get rid of the money. You just saw what Sam Darnold did. Why wouldn't you kick the tires with a new coach?
The owner twice said it was a swing and a miss and called it a mistake. How can you run him back out there as the starter after the owner said it was a mistake?
Well, this is the same owner that interviewed all of these head coach candidates and said,
Sometimes,
you got to keep Jim Schwartz. Without checking with Jim Schwartz,
and then,
are you good with this? So
I mean,
yeah.
if Deshaun runs out there week one as the starter, I will be flabbergasted yet again.
Jay, if he has the best camp, and once upon a time, I can't believe I'm advocating for Deshaun Watson.
How did this turn?
Because
this is bizarre world.
Yeah, it is. But what I'm saying is, we just watched a guy who was on 4 teams junk heap, and he won a Super Bowl.
Would you like me to play for you the Deshaun Watson highlight reel of 2023?
I remember I lifted
the ball 7 yards out of bounds.
Listen, I lifted it, but would you like me to play the highlight reel of Sam Darnold in 2023?
Well,
it looked a lot similar.
They've had one's had a ton of injuries. His entire body has been wrecked. The other one hasn't had injuries. He just figured out how to play in the NFL.
This was the most unlikely 4 years ago, someone would have told you this, you wouldn't have bought stock in this. This was the most unlikely Super Bowl winner maybe
absolutely.
ever.
The Darnold story is unbelievable.
And so what you said, why you love the NFL, and this is why I love the NFL too. The thing that we most love is that when we think we know, sometimes we're all wrong.
This is the most unlikely Super Bowl ever in terms of preseason odds. The Patriots were 80-1 to win the Super Bowl. The Seahawks were 60-1.
And they both got there. And they got there not even on the strength of their quarterbacks. I know Darnold had moments in the playoffs, but let's face it, the star of that team is the defense. And really, the star of the offense throughout the playoffs
was the running
has
back.
been the running back.
I mean, and finished second in MVP, so we can't say they didn't get there based on the quarter. We finished second in MVP.
Listen, I get that, but I'm talking about the Seahawks won this Super Bowl on the strength of their defense. I don't think that's deniable.
No,
and
it's a terrific defense.
So there are unwritten stories that are unthinkable today, and this is an unthinkable story because where Deshaun, and I know the owner has publicly come up, but let me tell you something. I put no stock in anything that owner says. I can't say, well, the owner said, so I'm going to bank on that.
I go back to that's why I'm just confused because if there's nothing wrong with Jimmy coming out and saying we saw enough of Shedeur that we want to build around him if we want to give him a look, if that's really what the thought is.
Absolutely.
He didn't say that.
No.
He said we want to win as many games as we can.
Right.
And I don't know how starting Shedeur gets you there.
What have you heard about and I like that there's a lid on this information, but there is like this cloak of secrecy surrounding Deshaun Watson. The only thing I can remember hearing was when the wide receivers coach, I believe, came out like week 12, 13, and said, I can just tell you what we see every day. He looks great. He's a joy to be around. Talking about Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. And I haven't really heard much outside of that. Like, how is the Achilles? Will he be full go? How does he look? I don't know.
They're not going to give you that.
No, and I kind of like that.
They're not giving you that
I kind of like that. I like that he's not all over on social media doing podcasts. Yeah. I think he finally realized that was a bad play. One of the things that Collinsworth talked about, I can't remember if this was in the pregame show or during the telecast. It may have been during the game. He said, neither of these quarterbacks has an ego. In fact, I had to ask them, are you guys sure you're quarterbacks? Because quarterbacks have egos. Even Tom Brady, as much as he tried to hide the fact that he had an ego, you have to have, you're an NFL quarterback. But it is interesting that the way the league has pivoted, the defense and the running back were the stars of yesterday's game. And you wouldn't have thought that 3 years ago, that would win a Super Bowl in 2025-6.
No. We got 2 other things we got to get to today, though, so let's get to those topics. We got some guards and some Cavs to wrap up the show. Reminder, Cleveland Charge at home twice this week on Tuesday and Thursday. They're taking on the Raptors 905 squad, which is currently the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. The Charge are the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference right now, so make sure you head over to Public Hall, support the Charge, get your tickets at clevelandcharge.com, and hopefully we see you at Public Hall on Tuesday and Thursday night. Speaking of the Charge's parent team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, FanDuel has updated its odds to win the Eastern Conference since the James Harden acquisition. And in your guys' tenure as sportscasters, sports commenters, have you guys ever seen odds this close for this many teams in a conference this late in the season? The Pistons currently plus 310, the Cavs plus 340, the Knicks plus 350, and the Celtics at plus 390. Then there's a major drop-off to the 76ers at 12-1 odds. Jason, Jay, can you guys ever remember a time where 4 teams were that close together 50 games into the season? And if you had to choose, and Jason, we'll start with you, we'll go around the horn, who should be the favorite in the Eastern Conference right now? Is it the James Harden-led Cleveland Cavaliers?
No, it should be the Pistons because they've been the best team all year. It doesn't mean they're going to be the team standing at the end, but, I mean, you can't discount everything that they've done this year. JB's done a great job up there, so they should be the favorites. I'm curious to see what happens to those odds if Jason Tatum comes back because it seems like there's an indication that he could be back, and obviously it'd be a huge boost to the Celtics if he does. So they may change again. Do I remember – I mean, in the West, it seems like there's always a couple of teams clumped together. In the East, no, I don't remember an East quite like this, especially, I mean, when LeBron was absolutely dominating for a decade. But to get that many teams that close together, it'll be a fun playoff. I'm looking forward to the postseason, and by that point, the Cavs should have kind of a rhythm between Harden and Donovan and figuring out how they want to play together. The Knicks, there's no team in the East that's going to be scared of the Cavs. Like, they're just not. But Harden does change it a little bit. It changes their dynamic and their complexion a little bit. But I don't think that the Knicks would be trembling to play the Cavs. I don't think that the Pistons would be trembling to play the Cavs. But I said last week I love the trade. I think it was a great trade. And they put themselves square in the center of contention in the East.
I think the only time I can remember that is 2018 was a funny year. I think during that time period, I think it was one of the lowest seeds that the Cavs had got. They was playing terrible. They kind of figured out, and they got to, I think, be the 5th seed or something, maybe 4th.
Man, I don't remember now.
But
you're right. It was a lower seed.
They played in the first round. They played the Pacers, and they drove them to 7 games.
Yep.
After that, they got the Raptors. That was with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. And then they got the Celtics, and they won the game 7 on the road against Boston. So that was kind of jumbled a little bit during that time frame, kind of a little bit. So that's the only thing I could think of. But nah, man, I'm gonna give it to, you know what I'm saying. I like what Jason said. Like those teams have played together for a substantial period of time. You know, the Pistons, you know, they've been playing together. They've been doing their thing, and I can't just now discount that because you got a new player. It's going to be some growing pains with James Harden. They're going to have to figure it out for them to work and get to an optimum point where they need to play enough basketball. And the cool thing about Harden is traditionally he just plays. Like, he's not going to be sitting out games. He plays a lot. So I think that they can find an opportunity to get on the same page. And the way his game is played, because he does have the ball and they are running pick and roll. And when he said, I'm not part of the system, I am the system. Like, James Harden is going to have the ball, and he's going to figure out what the defense is doing, and he's going to operate off that. So it should cut down on the time to get, you know, together and understand what you need to be doing. But the Cavs is right up there, and they might not be scared of them, but the different thing, and for people that like Darius Garland, shout out to Darius Garland. Let's be clear. Darius Garland is not James Harden. Like, I think sometimes we may get an idea like we got a guy, we developed him, but there's nothing about Darius Garland's game that is better than James Harden. Like, especially from a passing standpoint, from a health plan standpoint of I'm going to play, from a standpoint of he's not going to, like, when, you know, those 2 shots, I'm not going to say Darius Garland would have knocked those 2 shots down against Sacramento, but he had no qualms about it.
He pulled the
trigger like, oh, listen, I don't care how long y'all been here. I'm still James Harden. I'm firing this. And so that is the mentality that, you know, going into the Garden, James Harden has no problem shooting step backs. Yeah. It's just about whether or not they gonna go in or not. Yeah. So, and now what you can do is, now you got 2 dudes relatively that you know about. If you didn't have James Harden, ask the question. We talk about playoffs all the time. Are you more confident in James Harden showing up in the playoffs or Darius Garland, Jared Allen, or Evan Mobley?
There's no question.
There's no
question this team is better.
That now Evan Mobley could go right back to doing the other Mobley stuff because obviously he's not going to be the focal point of offense. So I think they're much better placed to be a legit contender in the East.
Yeah, there's two questions there. I'll answer the should they be favored in the East. I don't know. I think it might have been 07 or 08. I remember a time in the West when they were 1 to 8 was 6 games.
Yeah.
I think it might have been the year the Celtics beat the Lakers in the finals.
Because I know the Lakers and the Spurs.
The Celtics had that was the big three. The Celtics had a ridiculous year, but maybe check the Western Conference Finals, Western Conference standings in 07 or 08. I think the 08 season, the NBA Championship 08 season. So it would have been 07, 08.
Yeah.
That the whole conference was
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams within 3 games of each other.
Yeah. So I think that's probably there's more parity, deeper teams. It's weird. Jay, on one hand, I can say the Pistons should be the favorite, but we've seen what JB does in the playoffs, and I am not buying it. I'm just not buying it yet. So I don't think I would put them, if I'm betting money. The Celtics thing is interesting to me. They have overachieved with what they have.
Yep.
If they do get healthy, I think I would probably put Boston as the favorite.
I probably would. Well, you got to see if he comes back first. You got to see what he looks like.
Yeah.
But
if he's able to come back with, say, 10 games left in the regular season, I wouldn't want to play him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
No way. But if you go strictly off roster, I don't know how you argue against this roster being the best roster in the East. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Jay, when you and I agree to a T on basketball takes, I usually feel pretty bad about it.
Because then I feel pretty smart.
I could not agree with you more right now.
Perfect.
With the Pistons, this is going to blow your mind. You ready? Mm-hmm. The Pistons and the Thunder are the same amount of losses this season.
Yeah, I know.
The
It's
Pistons
insane.
are 38-13, and there's nothing about them that says it shouldn't work in the playoffs. They have one guy who can get a bucket when needed, in Cade Cunningham.
And what
we've
happens in the
seen
playoffs?
Heliocentric teams like that in the playoffs.
We've seen it.
They get slugged down.
Yep.
They need to prove it to me before I actually take them.
I'm with you on
as
that.
serious. And when it comes to James Harden, I understand his playoff woes are what they are, but he's going to be there. And you look at last year in particular, Darius Garland wasn't there.
Right.
And if they had someone that could just dribble across half court, they win game 2. And that whole
That's
playoff
crazy.
series.
And Harden will be.
If nothing else,
James can dribble.
James Harden can dribble past half court. Zach Lowe.
Come on, he can do a lot of. What do you mean? If nothing else,
I'm just saying, that at a
Oh, just with that. Okay.
Just with that, James Harden's ability to cross half court by himself by dribbling
or
the basketball.
his ability to put on a pair of basketball shoes and step on the floor.
Ty
Exactly.
Jerome and Sam Merrill was getting trapped.
They're ceiling,
Like it was high school.
Yeah, no, Jason said it, and it was the most accurate thing we thought. They literally could not get the ball past half court. It was 4 straight possessions in game 2 at home. They could not get the ball past half court. Donovan got called for an offensive foul. They had 2
That
turnovers.
might be one of the outside of the LeBron era, but that was one of the most
miserable
gut-punching losses I think I've ever watched.
I was
James
devastated.
Harden raises the ceiling, and the odds you can see they're all close together. The Celtics also, by the way, just the way they play should scare anyone because they make so many threes. They shoot so many threes. They can shoot you out of the building. They can shoot themselves out of a series. I like the Cavs, and I think they should be considered the favorites. And I can't believe I'm saying that after 2 weeks ago. Had I said that, y'all would have said,
"You crazy."
I'm crazy.
Yeah, but they made and we basically said, what trades are they going to make? What deal are they going to make?
I was going to make this point earlier.
Kobe pulled it off.
Shout out, hey man, listen, Kobe Altman. I got to even call you this brother right here, dog. This crazy. How do you keep finding these moves, bro? Like when they need whatever Dan Gilbert level of pressure he's being put on him. That's the level of pressure needs to be put on Kobe Altman at all times because he finds deals where it's just like you just got the time before they got Donovan Mitchell. We like what?
Yeah.
How'd you get that off? Then we thinking, okay, Jason said Darius ain't got no. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Who we trade Darius to? For what? And they said, hold on. We're going to give up a second-round pick and Darius for James Harden, and then I looked at James Harden's number because you got to look at it. You got to let me see what Harden doing.
I did the same thing, and I'm like, these can't be this year's numbers.
I said, this is this year.
It was a unique match for both sides because it was a distressed asset for a distressed asset.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the Clippers were not finding a very strong market for Harden because of the contract and everything else.
Were either of you guys at the Columbus Sports Awards last week?
No, I wasn't.
didn't.
No.
No. They did a really cool thing as part of the program. They did a roundtable from the 16. It's 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, I saw they had Griff, Shump, and JR.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. And a lot of Griff had some. I thought he had great insight. I love this question. It's like, what was the journey like? And Griff didn't hold back. He's like, oh, it was miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable. Because all I was doing, when LeBron James came to the team, I said, it's my job to have nobody know who I am. Do you know who the GM was of the 27 Yankees?
No.
And LeBron said no. And he goes, but you know Babe Ruth. It's my job not to screw it up so people can watch Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
And he said he got no enjoyment out of it. He didn't exhale until the last second was off the clock in Game 7 in Oakland. And it was really an interesting look into somebody who's being very honest and transparent at the time. And I thought about this team and the challenges of putting this team together. And I honestly, last year there was a trade made that we didn't think they could pull off. And in the moment it looked like a good trade. And we got a lot out of him. What happened to him this year, I don't know. And then
He turned back into DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, I think the clock struck midnight. And you know what? James Harden may turn back into James Harden next year. But if he can just be James Harden for the rest of 2026, I don't think we can give Kobe enough flowers for what he pulled off.
And you know what? So sometimes somebody tells you something, right? So I'll give Jason his flowers. He said this like a couple years ago. And sometimes you go along and then, you be sitting on the internet and something happens and you be like, oh, well, Jason was right about that. He did say that. Rich Paul is doing that podcast with
Max
Kellerman.
For the Ringer.
And he dropped the gem of, I told Darius Garland, this is last year right here.
Yeah.
Before the season even started. And I'm like, dang, bro. And I remember before, there's a lot of times we be talking, and you're like, listen, man, the Darius Garland trade comments and the trade situation, and then Darius Garland came out and confirmed it and said,
I knew I was getting
traded. Did you know you was getting traded? He's like, yeah, I kind of knew it. And I'm like, dang, Jason said that about 2 years ago, man. It turned about that. You know what? Dang on that was
right. But we'd all heard that, but I'm like, he's not movable. He's not movable.
But they moved him for another distressed asset.
They did.
And they had to attach a second-round pick to move him.
But like any of us could have thought of that. Well, no, he is movable because what you could do is you could move him for another.
Well,
but that's what Kobe did.
But the Cavs very clearly had a shift in philosophy of Kobe talking about, for years, Kobe said, we have a long runway, we have a long runway, we have a long runway on this. Well, when you trade for a guy 10 years older, you've altered your timeline drastically. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm saying that as they were saying, we have to do this now.
Yes.
There's
organizational change of
we're
direction.
out of runway. The plane has to leave the ground.
Who did that come from? Was that Dan?
I think it was a combination of a lot of things, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of it was the urgency to get Donovan to sign another extension.
And when
you got to get the plane
and
off
I
the
love
ground.
that. I'm sure it was his agent that leaked that last week that Donovan's not going to resign if they have another early exit in the playoffs. I love that because to me he exerted pressure publicly. So if they would have had if they have a first or second round exit and Donovan gets out of here, Donovan can at least say, "Hey, I told you guys what time it was, and nobody listened."
Yeah.
And so I think the organization felt, "Oh my God, we've got to do something now."
Mike, for years, you would throw out trades about would you trade Darius for a guy 8 years older?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't remember now what the exact scenarios were, but for years, and we would always have the debate, well, is it worth cutting down your window, that significantly? And I think the Cavs got to the point of saying, yeah, we have to do this because it gives us a better chance to win right now. And the way the league has changed and the way the CBA has changed, you can't worry about 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Like, you got to try and win right now.
I think what happened to him too was that window got shortened all the way up when Evan Mobley. They was hoping that Evan Mobley was going to come in and step his game up, and he was going to be the second best player. That didn't happen.
I actually disagree. I think it happened when they realized counting on Darius Garland's toes to get a fully healthy again.
That was my second point.
Yeah.
Them 2 toes, like, they were like, oh, I think they had long-term questions about him being.
And those are fair.
Ever being completely healed to a point where he plays the way he plays.
It'll be interesting to see now what happens with his career health-wise, because I'd lost all faith in him. Fans, they'd lost faith. I'm sure the front office had lost faith. That's why they dealt him.
Every time he would go for a layup, I would. The meme was my brother used to. Darius Garland, he go for a layup, he miss a runner and come down, start hobbling. I was like, man, that's kind of funny, bro. I said it don't be happening. Like, then it kept happening, and I'm like, I don't know if that ever gets better. Like, and I get the fact that
it's not just the toes. I mean, it felt like every time he took a hard elbow, he was out.
It was.
Didn't he have an eye? He had a broken jaw.
He's had a ton of injuries.
It's just it was one thing after another with him.
He's got 2 years left, $80 million-ish guaranteed, and the Clippers are rolling the dice that
he can stay healthy.
He can stay healthy.
And the Clippers want all that cap space. I don't know what they want. They don't want nothing on the books.
In 27. Although he's got a deal for his deal extends that far, but. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. The Clippers are taking a chance on this. And Darius should be back soon. Like
they said February 19th was their target date for Darius to play.
So after the All-Star break.
And what's the target for Evan Mobley? Because I need to see that.
Somewhere in that same range.
My hope is like we don't need him. Is the Thunder game after or before the All-Star break? I can't remember.
No, they got 2 more than it's the All-Star break. It's after.
Okay, so I would like to see a matchup of the Thunder where we have Harden, Mobley, Mitchell, Allen playing the way he is. Like, I would love to see that, because that could be a precursor of the NBA Finals.
SGA's hurt right now is the only issue. So
yeah, he's hurt for a while too.
When's he get back?
I don't know. I can look that up. I'll get that.
I think it's not long term though.
They said a couple weeks. So
yeah.
It's in the couple-week stretch because they play on the 20th or the 22nd of February.
Yeah, I would love it. If both teams could be at full strength, I think that'd be a nice,
fun.
Nice peak.
All right, we got one more topic we got to get to. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Help us get to 100,000 subscribers in 2026. Also, follow us on social media. You can see the handles right there on the screen. But it costs you $0, 0 cents, and helps us out a lot. All right, last thing we got to get to, Jay and Jason, you guys are on the show, so I wanted to make sure we got a little Guardians talk in. And unfortunately, it's not the happiest of Guardians news. Over the weekend, federal prosecutors came out and have now said that Emmanuel Clase is suspected of throwing, in their words, suspicious pitches in 48 different games over the last 3 years. That's a significant increase from the initial number that was reported. In that same report from the federal prosecutors, Luis Ortiz does not want his case to be tried and connected to the Clase case because he believes, according to Ortiz's representation, they are 2 very different things. You can make your own determination on that. The trial is set for May 4th, but Jay, 48 suspicious games now for Emmanuel Clase. I don't know what to say.
I want to know, were any of them the playoff games?
I think it's a fair question to
That's
ask.
what I want to know.
Yep, you have to. I mean, at first, you tried to avoid that or tried to deny it. And not you, all of us tried to deny
because
it.
we didn't want to go there.
As long as possible. But at this point, how do you not?
When we go back, now, what's weird is if it was just the first pitch, throwing 58-footers on the first pitch for balls, like, I'd want to know what evidence they have. And I have to say, and I'm probably in the minority here, but as bad as that is, like, I just don't. It doesn't. If there's a hitter and he went 0 for 12 with 11 strikeouts, like, that's far more damaging to your team. I would like to know of the counts that he handicapped himself 1-0. What happened on those at bats? Like, what percentage of those guys made outs?
I looked it up when it was a short number, when it was the
yeah,
smaller
well, we
number.
thought there were like 12, right, or something.
Yeah, and he got most of them out, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
And I would imagine, like if there's a guy that I would feel okay going down 1-0, it's him.
Yeah,
it doesn't excuse what he did.
You can't have a guy out there throwing.
No. Here's where I'm going with this. if he and again, those were regular season games. If there is a shred of evidence that he did this in a playoff game, I never want to hear his name mentioned again. Ever. I don't want to hear it 5 years from now, hey, he still got something left. Can he pick? Go play in the Mexican League. Go play in Korea. I don't know if anybody will take him. I'm not sure. But I just can't believe that a player would be that dumb to throw away guaranteed money of what, $10 million this year? Is that what he had?
Yeah, I think.
I need to hear. I want to see if he'll testify. I want to hear.
I would hope so.
I would like to hear what was the rationale, big dog. I
want to hear what evidence they have.
Right.
Do they have? I know that there were unusual bets placed. Okay, well, if there were unusual bets placed,
yeah,
I want to know where did they come from? How many bets were there?
They've got all the text messages and everything and the whole system.
They've got a case, yeah. I can't believe that it's not going to be until May.
I need the Dateline NBC on this.
I do too. I'm very curious to see, but I think I've said it all along. I think his career's over. He'll never pitch in the major leagues again.
Yeah. He's facing prison.
Yes,
he's going to prison.
Yeah,
if he's convicted of this.
At some point, professional sports and the bookmakers have to come to this conclusion. We need a poster child for why this can't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid, for his sake, that it's him. I think today's players know the name Pete Rose. They don't really know Pete Rose. They don't even probably know. They just think he bet on baseball and that's it. They don't know the details.
Right.
But betting now is far more part of our culture than it was in the 1980s when Pete Rose was doing this.
Is Clase, was he born in the United States where he's a citizen?
No.
So he might get deported, right?
I would imagine.
Or does he have to do time
I
here?
would imagine that if he's found guilty and they sentence him to prison time, that he'll serve that time here. Mm-hmm. And then he'll be deported.
And one thing I want to mention real quick, and I should have done it in a graphic. So he's now accused by federal prosecutors of suspicious pitches in 48 games.
Yeah.
He appeared in 197 over that span. It's almost a quarter of the games.
Yeah.
It's just shy of 25%.
Yep.
Of the games he appeared in between 2023 and 2025 has suspicious activity of some kind. That's an absurdly high percentage.
It also tells me, so even if they don't have evidence of him doing it in a playoff game, to me, his mind, what must he have been thinking when he came? His number one priority when he came into the bullpen, and what is the number one sin for a manager when they bring in someone from the bullpen?
You can't be walking nobody.
Don't throw strikes.
You can't be walking nobody,
and his priority as he comes out of the gate and the whole song and dance and dog and pony show is going on, he's got one thought in mind. A 58-foot slider. I'm going to spike one in front of home plate, and I'm going to get my buddies paid.
And I'm not excusing that at all. There's a huge difference in spiking a 58-foot pitch in May and hanging a meatball in October.
You're 100% right.
And I remember in real time we were talking about it, and I thought he made a couple good pitches on the edges, and they just hit them out.
Like Soto,
they're the Yankees.
It was crazy.
Judge hit a cutter off the
Didn't
edge
Carpenter
of the plate.
take him deep too?
I mean, a bunch of guys did.
Yeah,
but he hung a bunch of meatballs.
Stanton, I think
he hung some pitches early on where he was missing the spots like he had never missed before, and that's where we were like, wow. So that's the type of stuff that I look at. If you take what Cutter 99 on the edge and you hit it out to right, congratulations, you did your job.
And then,
but if you're hanging one in the middle of the plate against these guys,
in a playoff game,
I always will look at him being on him being on the internet with all his awards and trophies.
That was so ridiculous.
I was just
and started posting his trophies.
He did an Instagram live of all of his awards.
And I was like,
his 12-year-old CYO.
He had back-to-back AAU national champions.
He was throwing 75 when he was 11.
Got that trash can set up, curl hopping, throwing from the.
That was not good.
I've said this before. If you had told me last year you would be in this position with a Guardians pitcher and you have to guess which one it would be, my first guess, my second guess, and my third guess would be Emmanuel Clase.
Yeah.
I mean, and Ortiz, Ortiz is like, yo, listen, I want to separate my case. I don't even want to be next to this joint. Like, he's like, I got to get a profit.
Yeah, don't put me in with him.
Nah, bro.
I did it twice.
My stuff was different. Listen, he got to claim ransom or something, bro. He got to say they had my people abducted.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these cases play out, but I can't imagine that either one beat the rap. Maybe Ortiz. The one thing that I had, we were talking about this upstairs when it first broke, and I thought, I know we're all killing the guy, and we've tried him, and we've convicted him, and we've sentenced him.
Hard not to. I know we shouldn't.
Hard not to.
When the feds say you did it,
and I don't know what his defense is going to be.
Fed's conviction rate's like 99%.
Oh yeah, when they bring charges, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
They don't bring charges unless they got the goods.
Yeah.
But I say all that because what if there was a scenario? There's a awful situation going on in the United States of a high celebrity family member. Savannah Guthrie's mother has been kidnapped, and there's ransom. One of the things that was discussed, because Tucson's location to Mexico was, well, this is a cartel play. This is what the cartel does. This is their playbook. And because we don't really typically, these are unheard of. I mean, they're very, very rare in the U.S. And what I had said when I first heard this, I said, short of some syndicate member coming up to him and saying, so here's going to be our deal. And it's not an offer. This is what's going to happen. We're going to get word to you when you're going to throw a first pitch ball. And as long as you play ball with us, your family is safe in the DR. No one's going to go near them. No one's going to. But you want to find out what happens? Let our guys place high stakes bets, and you don't cooperate. I'm making this up. Yeah. I don't know. It's about the only thing I can think of as a defense.
That was the theory when this first came out. I know it had been sort of discussed in certain circles.
I mean, you'd have to have a lot of evidence to that.
The reason why I have sort of moved off of that as a possibility is because if you go back and look at the text messages with Ortiz, very clear, it doesn't seem as if anybody's life was in danger on this. It was very much let's make some money on this.
Guys,
what a shame.
Let me just let y'all know something,
You got $10 million guaranteed, and you're money grabbing for bets?
Yep.
This thing right here
picking up nickels
is a homing device. You do know the government got all your... Oh, yeah. What people still be texting.
And what they don't have, if they want, they can get. And what's stunning to me is that there is a new documentary out. It's on Vice about how we're losing a whole generation of young American males. The rate of young men that are addicted to gambling has, as you would imagine, skyrocketed because of the opportunity now. Yep. And Vice is one of those outlets that really doesn't have tie. They don't care what they're just going to go do journalism.
I mean, I thought they was going to blow up after a while. That's another question.
No,
Vice was great.
Yeah. But I haven't seen it yet. I bet it's been highly recommended to me. I know someone that has a gambling problem, a younger male. You guys may know someone that has a gambling problem. I think if nothing else, what's going to come from this, and I know you had said once that you didn't think that was going to happen because when the genie's out of the bottle, it's out of the bottle. But I do think that we're going to see reform to the betting industry. And I think these prop bets are going away.
I think they'll ban the micro bets, yes.
Yeah, these individual prop bets, it's too big of a temptation. In this case, it doesn't make any sense.
They've limited the cap. They've capped how much you can bet on some of these micro bets. I still maintain they should just abolish them.
I agree. And I do think ultimately that's kind of where we're going. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. I mean, this next pitch betting stuff, like if you're next pitch betting,
you're in trouble.
You likely have a problem.
But I mean, and now it's gotten to the point, and this is a whole other conversation, but Polymarket and Kalshi and some of these prediction markets where they do it where there's not legalized betting because it's predictions.
Exactly.
And you're betting against the other person. Kalshi made, I think I saw this morning, Kalshi made, or I shouldn't say made, what bets made on Kalshi totaled $500 million in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
$500 million.
And they're a threat to the gambling industry. It's two different things, really.
Yes.
I first found out about Polymarkets before the 2024 presidential election. Someone told me about them in June of that year. And I'm fascinated by algorithms and numbers and chances and betting and all the analytics that go along with that. And I thought, gosh, there's really no way they can do this. But then I sort of dug down into what Polymarket was doing and how they were doing it. And it was methodical, it was scientific, and they had been saying with great certainty they were predicting who was going to win, which race, which state, which congressional races that were big. And they hit just about everything. They did not miss. And I've followed them since that point, and now Kelsey's a little different, but it's a very similar thing. These guys are doing their homework, and they're fine. But on the predictive end of it, it opens up a whole new can of worms. And I think that the sports betting industry itself has to really be buttoned up now more than ever before, because this temptation is so great. If you got a guy making $10 million a year fixing pitches,
bro,
who's off limits?
There's the big four, there's the big five. Like, if you a dude or you a kid growing up, there's like, bro, you could be, it's just crazy. You could be in, drugs will get you. If it ain't that, it's the gambling.
Sure.
Second to that is social media.
Yeah.
Throw pornography, throw all these other different things in here. And then you got a thing where people is living in completely detached worlds where it's like you see people walking around and they're not even like cognizant. They're living in, you talk to them, they're in a different world. Like, you got to think about this. Like, this man is making $10 million. At what point do you have that amount of money coming in that you still are? But then again, like, it's a disease, it's a thing. So, and I always, so my grandfather used to always tell me, everybody has a vice. It's just whether or not you find out what it is.
Or, like, I do think that there are people that just lean towards whether it's alcohol or drugs or whatever, and then you have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
There actually is an addictive gene,
which
is nuts when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, everything in moderation. If you can control it, I always say bet what you can afford to lose. When you start betting more than that, and then you start making bigger bets to get out of that hole, you're digging yourself to China.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. One thing I wanted to point out, I wanted to ask you this, is a little bit off topic. You were going to do a piece on the NFL and fourth down and going for it. And
it ran last week.
Oh, God, I missed it. I'm going to have to go back and read it. I was doing some research watching the game yesterday, and I looked up the teams that went for it on fourth down the most. And the team that went for it on fourth down the least
is the team that won the Super Bowl.
Was the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I had that in there.
7, oh, you did, okay. 7 of the top 8 made the playoffs. The bottom, with 1 or 2 exceptions, all missed the playoffs.
I drilled down.
I found that fascinating.
Mike's got to go.
We'll do it in overtime.
I drilled down on red zone. It was red zone. Going forward or kicking in the red zone.
Yeah, I just started digging around on fourth quarter. And the Browns, by the way, were middle of the pack-ish. The only team in the top 8 to not make the playoffs, I think, was the Cincinnati Bengals. And they were a team that should have made the playoffs if their quarterback wasn't dinged early. Yeah. But I just found that fascinating, that the number, the fourth down, I believe that we're going to take a shift back away from that. I hope.
All right. We'll get as many Super Chats the next 3 minutes as we can. Sarge says, I want to congratulate the Hopewell Indians, Coshocton County Special Olympics. I hope I pronounced
That's right. You got it.
Nailed it. On being Division V basketball Northeast Regional champs. I'm the head coach, and we're heading to state, taking them to a charge game in March as well. That is awesome. Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
That's great.
DB Dog 21 says, crazy that Jason feels so strongly that Shedeur can't get better as a quarterback when we just saw a bust become a Super Bowl champion. You're expecting a Super Bowl caliber quarterback from the door, but that ain't happening. You got to let him develop.
Have you ever said that he couldn't get better?
Of course he can get better. There is such a long way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, what organization is going to sit around and wait 5 or 6 years for that? That doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah.
You've got like a year, 2 years tops, and I just think there's such a long way for him to go from where he is.
Yeah.
Not saying he can't ever get there. I just don't think it's going to be here. The Browns have never developed a quarterback in 25 years. You think they're going to get this one right?
A 5th-round pick. They've had a lot of first-round picks, later first-round picks that they couldn't develop.
So it's really I know everyone thinks I hate Shedeur. I don't. It's really more of an indictment on the Browns, their development, as much as it is on him. No, I don't think he's very good right now. No, I don't. I think he can get better.
No, Munkin's
But
a
I
new
don't-
guy,
I
so
don't
let's
think-
see what he can do.
And I do think that there are some. I do think that there are some things that Todd can do that maybe can put him into a better system because I don't think Kevin's system was good for Shedeur.
I
think
agree with that,
there's
too.
ways that they can get more out of
Yeah,
him.
if you were going to look for the prototypical quarterback for Kevin's system, it wasn't
him.
Sanders.
Yeah.
That's why the decision to draft him was kind of a head scratcher from jump.
Brody's Bottom Line sent 3. Congrats, M. Foster from St. Ed's and Kobe Bryant from Glenville on becoming Super Bowl champions.
Right.
That's right.
He says,
Oh, wait,
Jason,
you missed one. The
Barner
from Aurora.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hell, he had a day.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
Brody's Bottom Line also said, Jason, Kyrie's mad because nobody gives him credit for helping with that championship in 2016. And then last but not least, he says, Jay, Seattle did have the Offensive Player of the Year, so their offense did have weapons.
Yeah, they had the player of the year. They just didn't have the MVP.
We'll have the Kyrie conversation another day.
And boy, you know what? Njigba's an enigma. I think that I don't know how he doesn't dominate every game, but like what were his numbers yesterday?
Well, he got hurt.
Yeah.
I know he did, but even when he played enough to make an impact, and
He did nothing.
it was incredible.
Christian
to me.
Gonzalez is pretty good.
Man, Christian
He's
Gonzalez.
pretty good.
You know, one thing that I agree with Collinsworth yesterday that wasn't hyperbole. He said he was the best player on the field. That guy is a shutdown. He is unbelievable. He made some plays on
Njigba had
balls
4 for
yesterday.
27, by the way.
What's that?
4 for 27.
Yeah, that those aren't offensive player of the year kind of numbers.
All right, we'll see you in overtime. We'll talk going for it versus kicking in the Little Olympics.